Right, so today, yeah, a lot of stuff, but did this new sorting stuff. Now I want to quickly, I need to look at the client server stuff for the zone view. History. Look there. Right, so look at start predict. Where did I put this? Where did I put this file now? Star NLU started tailgate. Star NLU started tailgate. I just want to look at the client server stuff quickly again. Come on, man. If it's not there, then where is it? Star NLU. Did that file called XNLU. GDX, there it is. So why didn't star GDX? Oh, GDC. Why don't I search for GDC? It's a GDX. Of course it's a GDX. Next. But it's because I'm tired. Anyway. Alright. Plus David changes. Copy. So we want to make a dummy copy again just for testing. And what was my password? Okay, now I'm going to say tools, start server, port 81, and run a second one, connect, port 81, and boom. So what we did the other day was basic, very basic check in and check out. As if I want to try get editing working. There's a few things that need to be done to get editing working. Yo, I just want to go to bed. I'm done for the day. Okay, I do not have the mental capacity for this right now. Maybe just try to do one small thing. Okay, so this is the server, and the other one's the client. And you'll see there's little padlocks. That means the entry is locked. So we can only modify the entry if we check it out. Okay. Interesting. So on the server it doesn't show anything. Okay, it's false alarm. Somebody's harassing me. I thought it might be them. That's why I went all quiet. Just need to put my CCTV somewhere. That's gonna fall. Right. So what I need to do, I've got this client server thing going. This is acting as the client. It's connecting to the server instance, which is this one, through an RPC web HTTP integrated web server that runs a JSON RPC, or just plain RPC web API server to fetch entries. And I'm busy extending that functionality. So I started adding the checkout tool, checkout functionality, and now I need to add some basic editing functionality. Now, two things need to happen re-editing. It's not just a matter of saving entries. It's a bit tricky. Okay, on the local client, we edit the entry and we change it. But the thing that needs to happen is each of these nodes has a unique ID. Those unique IDs are stored centrally on the server. So the server has to allocate the unique IDs. So whenever we edit and make changes, it needs to allocate new IDs. So I need to add a function to ask the server to allocate an ID. But now if you're doing a lot of editing, it can be slow to 1, 1, 1, especially if you've got high latency to the server. So I may need to do something like, say, send 10 new IDs at a time, and then the local client just uses them as like a sort of pool of IDs. I just want to see how the ODBC does this. DJIO. There's an ID allocated class. How does it work again? Let's see. Right. I think that happens in the document. The document, yeah, there's an ID assigner. So we need to create a custom ID assigner. The ODBC ID assigner inherits from the base class ID assigner. So we need to write a custom ID assigner, similar to the way the ODBC does it, where oh wow, it looks like this requests 200 at a time. Yeah, so we can do something similar, but I wonder how long it would take to run out. So this many IDs allocated every time. And if IDs are 32-bit, we stand a very realistic microscope overflowing the variable eventually. People keep logging in, making one edit and logging out. I like to use this really. For now, we just probably plug it in. Well, we've got, let's assume we got assigned that gives us 2 billion IDs. So it fetches a batch of 200 at a time, and we do one edit, change per batch, and leave. Then we're going to have 10 million edits before we run out of IDs. That's a lot. To do 10 million edits to run out of IDs But let's say you do 100 edits a day. Let's say you got 10 users doing 100 edits a day. Small edits that are stupid like this. Let's say you got 10 users doing 50 edits a day, then that's 500. Gives you 20,000 days. That's still a very long time. That's like 54 years. But there are ways around this, because the server, if we ever have a problem, we can either just switch to 64-bit. That's maybe not trivial. There's going to be gaps, because you're not going to have a document with 4 billion IDs allocated. So if the server checks where the gaps are, it can also allocate IDs from the gaps, and it should. So if we just design a system where it allows us to potentially change it later, if we do start hitting this problem in real life, to allocate IDs from gaps. So what it must do is, if you ask for a batch of IDs, it's not send a range or the next ID, but just literally send an array of IDs. 200 seems like a lot, but is it really? Because it's typically going to be a few hours of work. And you save in. Right. So you need an idea on class. Something like this, but for TC plus server. Let's go to line 4000, something like that. I don't have anything to do with tables, but it may have stuff to do with inventory. Straightforward, yeah. No longer languages, we're going to probably change that. To retrieve next ID, that's it. That can do nothing for now. Retrieve next ID. Okay, and then so this, either this retrieve next or that. This set of IDs, batch. So that's the batch of IDs we get, and that'll be cool. Okay. Why a set? Not just a deck. You push on the end, pull from the front. I don't know. Doesn't make much difference, does it? You could go off the top. Is that better or worse? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, so we also need to do in attach doc and we have to override attach doc and detach doc of client IO. No, secret edge. Oh, God. So here are these audio sound effects. TC sound audio assignment. Okay. Now the assign ID looks like it's the thing that fetches in range if it's -1, or ID next is greater than range. The retrieve next ID is just tell us ask the server to tell us what the actual full-on next ID available is. That shouldn't be used for much. Assign ID should basically say something like that should be very simple, I think, straightforward. Should looking. That's famous last words. That's programmer. Famous last words. That should be easy. That should be absolutely straightforward. If you hear yourself saying that, you know that there's big trouble ahead. Okay. Right. Assign ID. If ID pool bash is not empty, then yeah, if it's empty, then get new bash. I guess maybe there should be a way to say I only want one new ID, or I want a batch, or maybe the client should have a I want 10, or I want 100, or I want, because the client knows what it's about to do. But anyway, that's not very important. Okay. Okay, it's still empty. I don't know what to do. Make this work for me. This probably could happen, like if the server's offline, then it can't, and it fails to get alright. Now if not empty, then ID close. ID first. And okay. And then it's a deck. So then we pop front. Pop it off front. Okay. So now we're going to have some new thing. Do you get help? So we're going to have a new array thing, okay? Nothing's going to return an array. Get assign ID patch. And maybe we can have a parameter saying how many we want. I don't know. Should it be the client saying how many they want? I guess the client could say how many they want, but for now, it's going to be hard coded anyway. It doesn't really matter. Let's put the parameter in just for the hell of it. We can say, you know what? One thing we can do. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. We could say if we have a low latency connection. If we know that it's a low latency connection, like we ping the server, and it's just a couple of milliseconds away, then we can say, okay, give me small batches at a time. Although the server might still be busy doing other things, and then it might not be able to allocate the batch if it's busy. But that's probably not that likely. Yeah, so we could dynamically look at the. If we want to get fancy, we could do that. If we want to get fancy, we could say, well, if the server's less than 5 milliseconds ping away, or 10 milliseconds, like something really close, then allocate smaller batch. If the server's far away, if the ping is 200, 300, 400 milliseconds, then allocate larger batches. That's if we want to get fancy. So and we could have different, there could be somebody working very close to the server and somebody working on the other side of the planet with a low latency connection to the same server. So I think let's put it in the client but for now we're not going to use it, we're just going to hard code it to something. So 200. Okay. Params.put num IDs, and we're going to say suspicious car driving past. I think that may be the neighbor. Streaming the CCTV. I'm having big problems with somebody resurrecting me. Massive problems. Anyway, put so I think we can say if like the ODBC does this. Yeah. So yeah. So we can say num. Let's just say num. And we change this so we can 50 at a time. just not sure. Alright, let's say 50 at a time, and that's done talking about it. Let's say make it 100 at a time. Let's make it 96. Let's make it 77. Arbitrary. Okay. So the moment you need an ID and you don't have an ID, there's going to be a latency if the server's far away as it requests a new batch. If it's half a second, I'll give you really on the other side of the planet. You know, you could feel that. So having a higher value, but you know, you're just going to run out of IDs faster if you have a higher value anyway. But that's probably okay for now. The IDBC works on 200. We haven't even got users using it for years. Alright, if we have millions of users on the server, we could have an issue. It's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Alright, so we can create assign IDs, assign ID batch. So we ask the server for a batch of IDs. They may be non-contiguous. For now they'll be contiguous. Okay, so we're going to create a new function. I just want to display. Alright, so let's send this assign ID batch. So the I have lists. So for example, so now we're going to create a new two new functions. Retrieve next ID and assign ID batch. Why do we have to make batch? Assign IDs? Assign IDs. Let's just call it assign IDs. Like ID, allocate ID, assign ID, allocate ID. Allocate sounds better to me somehow, like allocate ID, assign the ID, allocate the ID. Yeah, I think it should be allocate IDs somehow. But that doesn't imply it's allocated to us. Allocate IDs. Or maybe assign IDs is better. Assign allocate. Allocate IDs. Why could it be for someone else? Or we ever want to say, hey, allocate IDs for that user? Maybe, I don't know. Let's start with just calling allocate IDs or assign IDs. Should we allocate IDs? We use assign IDs everywhere else in the code. So maybe we should just stick to the same. Assign IDs doesn't sound right. I think it sounds better. But everywhere else in the code, I say assign. So I don't know if I should stick to assign or say allocate. Anyway, let's stick to assign and just leave it as the smallest thing in the world. Okay. And then yeah, we're gonna have IO retrieve next ID. So this retrieves the actual next ID. Server next ID. So you values 150, 15 to 20 and then 21 to 30 to this should be very simple example. Okay. No parameters. What to do then? Should we do like ABC and what we connect to probably should we have succeeded, or should it just return the next ID and be done? We just return the next ID and be done. Equals yeah. Something like this. So we can add two functions: retrieve next ID and assign IDs. IDs is a little more complicated. We can have an array of IDs and probably a num. Which I should be IDs. Retrieve next ID or assign IDs. This is a lot of work just to edit that down entry. Anyway, but I'm not even getting to editing. It's like there's so much foundation work we have to put in place. I just want to be able to edit an entry, but it's like you have to dig foundation for months before you can even. It's like a house. It's just building the foundations. Okay, so we've got two functions, and these both. Not, yeah, these, it's another retrieve next ID. Okay. And these have to be added here, basically. And these are glue functions. These are just silly little glue functions. Okay. And these two glue functions must just pass through. They're basically little stubs. Not stubs, they're little pass-through wrappers to two real functions in the server. Okay. In the first one, there's no parameters. This one, ooh, yeah, this. Do we want this every time someone else add it? Probably not. Yeah. Alright, so this one is a num. Oh, there is a get param ID. Num. And the default num can be 50 or whatever. So many requested. Fixing those. I don't know what's the reasonable maximum to ask for at once. 10,000, 5,000. Anyway. That's ridiculous, even though. Look, I suppose if you're batch importing a document, but even so, you know, yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, maybe, I mean, there might be circumstances. 50,000 IDs. Alright, okay. Now we say now we need something to put the result in, and it's a vector of IDs. And then we call the server function. Which doesn't exist yet, we have to write it. Now how are we going to pack this? That's the question. Get document construction data, just let me get entry list. Entry list has an array. Something like this, basically. Does this make sense? Except, yeah, so there's something there. Okay. String vector. But that's a vector of pairs. The ID is common strings. So it's pretty simpler than this. Pair. ID. Child. ID. Child. Entry. Which one ID is? Let's see what happens if we just pushback isn't right. That's a property tree. We want to say something like return to that child. IDs, okay. And then this makes sense. It's not a pair, pushback. That makes no sense. I don't know, it's okay. Child put. What is it? What is it? Pushback. What is children? It's a property tree, so we can use pushback. But pushback pair. I make pair, string from a child. What? It's very confusing. I think I've got some example code somewhere else that just returns a simple array. Let's play a string on a string. You see, yeah, that's the problem. This returns only is not in the original order. I don't want that. But resorted alphabetically by number. Yes, I don't want that to happen again. Just want the damn IDs. Maybe we can just... What if we just pack them in a JSON string? Because this whole generic thing, I first have to do a boost property tree, and then it converts it to a JSON string. Constructing a JSON string is much simpler. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm going to have to carry on with this tomorrow. Or I could carry on with it now and just try to get it done. Look, you can do this. Make pair empty, comma child. No. Children that push back. Make pair. Seems a bit like overkill. Empty comma child, and the child. But then the child dot put probably needs. But the thing is, I don't want to say like ID 100 times or 50 times. We're going to just do this. Okay. Yeah, then we'll look at it. Let's just do this. Push back the ID as a string. ID is format. I don't know what I want to do. I'm not going to do it like this. Let's just see what happens. Let's want to see what it sends back. Okay, this function doesn't exist yet. Alright, whatever. Left parenthesis unmatched. Okay, this function doesn't exist, as I said. So now I've got to add this function. We're in a real server. And it takes the old session ID and num and that. Okay. And it can do the same check scheme on the so-called silly values, and then if non-document return false, then read as write as luck. User equals no. IDs font design ID. Why not? Guest. Why not design IDs? Anyway, no, that's not a use case for now. This is a bit weird. Now the server could be ODBC or TLD. Huh. Okay, that really needs some thought, and I can't do it now. Yeah, end of stream. Bye.